Big Bend. It's a land of rugged contrasts, combining the vast Chihuahuan Desert, forested mountain slopes, and the deep canyons of the Rio Grande. It's a remote landscape with unrivaled dark skies, and one of the most diverse ecosystems in West Texas. It's a place where the Mexican and American ways of life are blurred together. To visit here is like stepping back in time. Come along with us as we head back into Big Bend and beyond.
Hey fellow expeditionists, we're on another road trip, Indiana to Texas.
We're heading back to Big Bend.
This is how most of our western road trips begin. One huge travel day with the occasional stop to stretch our legs at places such as the Uranus Fudge Factory or even to Buc-ee's. It just depends on what is along the route.
Stupid beaver.
But it is not lost on me on how many amazing places we are probably passing right by on the interstate, as we see all the signs for state parks, reservoirs, museums, Route 66, and more. Someday when I'm retired, I'll take it slower and hit up these places along the way. But for now, we need to put in the miles, as it is 1,400 miles to get to Big Bend National Park from Lafayette, Indiana. Well, good morning, fellow expeditionists. Hey, Caden, what is today?
It's Christmas Day.
That's right, it's Christmas, and we are celebrating our Christmas the best way we know how, and that is on another road trip. We are deep into Texas right now. Yesterday, we traveled 1,015 miles, spent the night at the Haskell County rest area, and we're on the move again. We still have a couple hundred miles to get to our main destination down in the Big Bend area. We absolutely love it down there. This will technically be how many years now at the Chihuahuan Desert?
2 years.
3 years, actually. This is our third straight year of hitting the Chihuahuan Desert over Christmas time. We got a little bit of driving to do. We are deep into the oil country and natural gas areas. You can smell it too, can't you?
Yeah.
Be glad you can't smell it because it's pretty strong down here. But we're getting ready to hit some really cool scenery. Make sure you come along. This is our second year in a row coming down to the Big Bend area. You can find a link to the previous adventure down in the description, which does include hikes into Santa Elena Canyon, climbing Emery Peak, exploring the Terlingua ghost town, and more. But we're coming back to hit all the things we didn't get to do the first time, like the Lost Mine Trail, the historic Hot Springs District, plus we'll be checking out some old movie sets and exploring deeper into the neighboring Big Bend Ranch State Park. We're just outside of Marathon, Texas here on our way down to Big Bend, and I just love this formation out here. It really makes me feel like there's some kind of titan buried there. Either like that is the spike sticking up from the back of, like Godzilla, or there is an upside down skull there, and that's the teeth coming out of the ground. Pretty gnarly.
Well, after more than 1,400 miles of driving,
We finally arrived in Big Bend National Park.
that's right, we are back down here in Southwest Texas for more adventures. And it's not just going to be here at the National Park either. We're going to be heading into the Big Bend Ranch State Park, doing more exploring. So much more to see here that we did not get to do during our last visit. And it is like 80 degrees, beautiful weather. Nothing at all like it was back in Indiana, huh, buddy?
That's for darn sure.
We're going to have a good time. Come along. Mr. Donkey. So we are in the Rio Grande Village area. We are going to be camping in the campground here just one night tonight. But first we decided to get some information on the Ernst Ridge Trail. It will go up on these rocks over here. And the reason that we're curious about that is because it's a 6-mile trail that leads out to a hot spring. Now it's actually 3 miles out, 3 miles back. There's typically a road you can drive to get you way closer to be able to go to the hot spring. But it is one of several national park roads that got washed out last summer. And they have not had a chance to fully fix those roads, mostly because of the government shutdown and everything. So they are currently being worked on, but obviously not in time for us. So our hope is to get up early in the morning and do the 3-mile hike out the ridge top up here to go out to that hot spring and experience it, because it is one of the main attractions here at this national park, and we did not do it when we were here the first time. So we feel like we have to get out to the hot spring. Well, we have checked into the Rio Grande Village Campground here at Big Bend. Same campground that we stayed at last time they were here, but different site. We're at number 24 this time. It is one of the cooler, more wooded sites. It is a pull-through that allows you either tent or RV. We're just going to be sleeping in the Subaru probably because we're only here for one night. The site itself is pretty standard stuff. We got our chairs out here, but you also got the bear box slash javelina box slash coyote box, because they all come through here. And of course you have your nice picnic table, and but here behind the grill it actually leads out into the wetlands that goes over to the nature trail. I've already seen some birds back here giving themselves bird baths underneath this brush. So right now, Caden is already out on a hike. He took off to the nature trail. He's going to do his own thing today, this afternoon. He does that often nowadays. He likes to do his own thing. I'm getting ready to have myself some mushroom coffee. Need to recover a little bit from a day and a half of driving. And the Subaru is pretty much already set up. So the reason we're only doing one single night here at the Rio Grande Village Campground, this trip got planned literally like 5 weeks before Christmas. There was no sites in the campgrounds here at the national park that could get us more than a day at a time. So I ended up making reservations to the west at the Big Bend Ranch State Park, right on the Rio Grande. We'll go in there tomorrow. That's one of the reasons I'm not going to bother setting up a tent here tonight, just sleep in the Subaru. I should also mention that this is our first road trip in our new 2025 Subaru Outback Wilderness. The past 2 years, we've been traveling in a 24 Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness, but we lost it last August in an accident. So when shopping for a replacement, I decided to upgrade to the larger and more powerful Outback version. With 21 cubic feet more cargo space and 80 more horsepower, I am loving it so far. Good morning, fellow expeditionists. This is technically day number 3 on this road trip already, huh? Mm-hmm. We didn't do a whole lot here in the campground. At least I didn't. Caden got to go and do the nature trail hike again. I had done that, our previous time, but he wanted some deeper exploration. What did you get to do over there?
I took some time. I took some pictures of a road runner watched and took pictures of some desert fish doing their things in the desert springs, and then took my time and walked over to the Rio Grande. Still some cool plant life.
Nice. And of course, that's the kind of stuff you're majoring in there at Purdue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, today we're going on our first fairly big hike to one of the major features here in the park. So come along. So we're at the Ernst Ridge Trailhead and picnic area. I just want to point out all of the trinkets for sale here. So a lot of the Mexican nationals will come over here and set stuff out. And they have price tags on it, little places where you use the honor system to pay for it. Now the reason I point this out is because according to the National Park website, they're not allowed to do this. And so we took that very seriously our first time here. If you watched our travel video from this a year ago, you would hear me say that. But the reason I mention it now is because when we stopped here yesterday, there was a ranger here. And they don't seem to care at all. So if you decided to buy one of these little trinkets off here, I don't think you got any issues. And apparently the burros or donkeys that wander over from across the Rio Grande, they're already out here again this morning. At least 3 of them are. So that's kind of like your welcoming crew here at the Ernst Ridge area.
That donkey must have felt really good afterward.
Ew. Well, what kind of trees are we walking through here, Caden?
Looks like over here we have some sort of mesquites. And over here, we have some sort of cottonwoods.
Very nice. I really like this grassy area here that the burros seem to like. It's really pretty, those trees there. Let's head on up into the desert wilderness.
The Ernst Ridge Trail begins by Daniels Ranch near Rio Grande Village. It is about a 6.5 mile out and back hike with 400 feet elevation gain. It ascends the rim of the Hot Springs Canyon with incredible vistas of the Rio Grande River, Sierra del Carmen Mountains, and Chisos Mountains. The trail then takes us away from the river and back into the desert, which is often the hottest area of the park, with no shade available. The trail will then descend back to the river and ultimately to a historic hot spring. This is not the easy way to the hot springs, but when have we ever been known to do things the easy way?
I just realized I'm still wearing my winter hat. This is a wool cap. It is really warm. It was cold this morning as we was packing up the car. And I forgot to change it into my wicking hat for the hike. So I may have to go hatless for a while today. Look at this amazing desert landscape. We have the Chisos Mountains straight ahead of us. And then you got all of these rolling hills down below. Stuff you can't see from anywhere else in the park unless you go inward. All right, we have made it to the Hot Springs Loop at the end. I think we're heading straight down into the hot spring itself. Let's go.
In 1909, J.O. Langford moved his family to West Texas. He had heard tales of a spring that could cure just about anything. Mr. Langford had contracted malaria when he was a child, and it had ravaged his body. So he went in search of the spring, hoping it would rejuvenate his health. Under the Homestead Act, he claimed this land and built a riverside resort, including a post office, a lodge, and a 2-story bathhouse over the spring, which flourished into the 1940s.
As you see, it is already very busy. So it is a small spot for a spring. A lot of people trying to get in. I'm not going to push my way into that, but we do want to get out and get our feet wet a little bit. So this is the wall off the original bathhouse that was here before. And it's slowly deteriorating. The hot spring is still there. The water is like 105 degrees from the spring here. Really warm and comforting. I can see how it would feel so good to just sit here and soak in this.
I might take these off.
Go for it. Not that bad, is it?
Right? Feels like a hot tub.
Exactly. It's nature's hot tub.
Yeah.
Not that bad, huh, buddy?
That feels rocky.
Well, it's all rocky.
This feels rocky earth.
Just something you have to experience at least once, huh, buddy?
Yep.
Well, the hot spring was really cool and really crowded. We got to experience it. We're going to finish up our little loop here at the hot springs and then head back. Well, maybe after Caden gets pictures of his flowers. So this here is what used to be part of the Langford Resort before the national park days. The guy that had built the bathhouse around the hot springs had built a small lodge right here too.
Well, since there was a resort here, that's why it explains this.
Whoa. Right here, Langford built a store and post office for his burgeoning community he had here at the resort. I guess it served a lot of the ranchers and miners that lived in the area in both countries. So, you know, we did this hike specifically just for the hot springs, but I didn't realize the whole Hot Springs Historic District had so many cool things to see. So here we have one of the homes. Both Langford and Livingston had homes down here. I'm not positive which one this would have been, but look at the awesome rock works, how they built the construction on that. Well, that historic district for the hot springs was really cool. I didn't expect as many of those buildings, much less palm trees. So we're heading back on the loop. These are the kind of views that bring me back to Big Bend. So much beauty.
I think we didn't have to share it with them.
Ah, look at that. A view down onto the hot spring. It looks like there's a whole bunch of canoers there joining in. So if you ever do the Ernst Ridge Trail, hike out to the hot springs, do not skip the upper section of the hot springs loop. I think the best views have been from this little section of that loop. And unlike a lot of national parks, Big Bend actually encourages you to go off trail and explore. The only other national park I can think of that encourages that is Badlands in South Dakota. So, you know, still tread lightly, but feel free to explore safely. We are almost done with this hike. It has been amazing, but it is hot. Well, that hike on the Ernst Ridge all the way out to the Hot Springs Historic District was actually better than anticipated, with all of the everything it offered, you know, from the desert ecosystem, the mountain views, canyon views, the river ecosystem, historic district, coming across that collared lizards and everything. Loved the hike, but it was extremely hot coming back. We had to take a couple of little breaks there. No shade, really. We leaned up against a rock to get a little bit of shade from the rock earlier. But, you know, we made it. Only thing I can say is I wish I'd had my sun hat like I was meant to. But anyway, as long as you plan ahead, have plenty of liquids, good to go. And I'm glad we did it. It was a cool hike, wasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely was.
Yeah. So, we are moving on. We are skirting through the national park right now. Tonight we move over to the Big Bend Ranch State Park for camping, and that's where we'll be spending the rest of our camping anyway on this trip. We'll be back and forth, back into the national park and in the state park and whatever happens in between. Right now, that's where we're heading. We just left the Warnock Visitor Center at the Big Bend Ranch State Park. We got checked in for our campsite at Lower Medera Campground. We've got about a 13-mile scenic drive now across the state park here to get to our campground. It is a first come, first serve kind of thing where we have reservations, but not for a specific site. So we'll just get there and cruise through to see what is available and pick which one fancies us, I guess. Alright guys, we have picked out our campsite here at Lower Medera Campground at Big Bend Ranch. We have taken site number 13, lucky number 13. Show us around here, Caden. So we've got our camper car set in here. We have the option to sleep in it or a tent. We've got both set up. What kind of amenities do we have here, Caden?
We've got a campfire. We bought our camp chairs. There's a bench beneath this thing.
Yep. Over there we have our one Tigris 2-man camping backpacking tent. It is very dusty already. Just getting it set up, we got sand all over it. It is actually a 4-season tent. We weren't sure how cold it was going to be getting down here, because you know, last year when we were here at Big Bend, it was a high of around 60 or 70 during the day and lows in the 30s. So far, in the first 2 days here, it's been high in the 80s with lows around 50. Or maybe I guess last night it was in the 40s, but still. So we packed that just in case. A little overkill, at least until Monday. What's going to happen on Monday?
We have highs only in the 40s and lows in the low 30s.
Yeah, it's going to get cold on Monday and Tuesday, so we'll see what happens then. But we're set up for it. So let's get a look at the scenery we were camped in here. The sun is just setting. And look at that. That is just gorgeous right there. And that hillside back there, that mountain, is on the other side of the Rio Grande, so that's technically Mexico. So this is our campsite. Now we've noticed there's some kind of tracks in the sand here too. We're not sure if it's some kind of small deer or maybe even
A javelina.
dun dun dun. a javelina, or maybe chupacabra. So even though there are fire pits here, I'm not so sure that fires are actually allowed at this time of year. Everything around us is bone dry, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So I'm not risking having any actual fires. So anything that we cook has got to be done either through my fire maple stove or the old Coleman stove. And that's what I'm doing tonight. And we're not getting fancy at all whatsoever. We eat cheap on these kind of road trips. We've got hot dogs and some kind of instant lunch ramen noodle type thing. So that's all we're doing tonight, huh, buddy?
Yep.
Yep. I'm going to get the water boiling. Well, believe it or not, hot dogs and noodles is a pretty good little meal, huh, buddy?
It is.
And I'll tell you what, it gets dark fast here in the desert. And as soon as it does, the temps start dropping really quick, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, so it gets chilly pretty fast here in the desert. But we're just kind of hanging out, being quiet. There's been a bat flying around. Caden says he's seen one of those kangaroo rats.
Yep.
I haven't seen that yet, so I'm just going to hang out here and see what we see.
Hey, fellow expeditionists. This is day 4 on our road trip.
That's right. We're camped out here in the Lower Medera Campground in Big Bend Ranch State Park. Enjoying it, I should say. Good sleep last night. It gets chilly at night, and that's, for me, is good sleeping weather typically. Today, I think we're going to stay in Big Bend Ranch. We're going to take off exploring. What little we seen of it last year was not even like 5% of this park. So we're going to take off, and it's going to be a whole day trip. And also remember, being in December, it doesn't get daylight till 8 a.m. and the sun goes down by like 5:30 p.m. So our days are shortened on our explorations, aren't they, buddy?
They are.
Yep. But we're excited to see what this park has to offer. All right, we are heading west on, I think this is Texas 170 scenic route. I'm gonna take a look through. There's a whole lot of little stops just along this route before we even get to the other end and take the main park road through the central area of the park. One of the most popular spots in the entire park is, of course, Closed Canyon. And we did Closed Canyon on our previous trip here, so we'll be skipping that one this time. But we are going to be stopping at a lot of little things, I think. So this overlook we're coming up onto really soon is the Dom Rock. And it is famous for being featured in, I believe, the 1985 movie Fandango. So that is an awesome view, but we're going to go ahead and walk over to the other side, see what kind of view it gives. Dom Rock is a famous, though unmarked, roadside boulder known for being featured in the 1985 cult classic film Fandango, starring Kevin Costner. In the movie, the characters had hidden a bottle of Dom Perignon champagne under a rock that they wrote Dom on, and that can still be seen today. In the 2002 movie Spy Kids 2, The Island of Lost Dreams was also filmed here, with the main characters fighting off the undead climbing the hillside.
So I believe somewhere here, one of these is the rock. And actually, I think it might be below us. It's either, could be this one over here, could be the one above us, could be down there in that stretch. But one of these is where he goes out there and just yells into the canyon. So up here at the peak of this little hill is the official Dom Rock, just where they carved Dom into the rock after the movie, or in the movie. I don't know. It's been way too long since I've seen that.
Here's to us, by God! To us, and that, and privileges of youth!
I suspect this right here is the official spot where the guy went out and did his yell into the canyon. Dom Rock, folks, from the movie Fandango. All right, that is our first stop here on this little road trip that features a movie spot. I believe there's some more filming sites here in this park as well. We're gonna have to keep on moving to find them. We are now passing by the closed canyon trailhead, which we did last year, obviously. But this marks the furthest we've been into this park. So everything we see from here on out is brand new to us. Exciting, huh, buddy?
Yeah, it is.
Our next stop on this awesome drive here in Big Bend Ranch State Park takes us to the Hoodoos Trail. It's a short little trail with some cool rock formations. We're gonna go check it out.
The word hoodoo originated in Africa and referred to rock formations with strange animal shapes and were believed to harbor evil spirits. Hoodoos are often also referred to as fairy towers or even goblins. Here we have stunning views not just of these rock formations, but also of the Rio Grande, the Boquillas Mountains, and the cliffs over in Mexico.
So this is just a really unique area for erosion and seeing how some of these rocks have formed. Of course, that is the Rio Grande River directly behind it, which was historically, a flooding river. It still does flood. Nothing like it did before humans changed its flow, but still that is one of the main things that created these rock formations. It helps to have a person beside some of these things to get an idea for size. They're not big, but they're big enough. So while there is supposed to be a trail here, it's not very well marked. So, you know, I just see most people just kind of wandering around. And that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, these are some pretty cool rock formations, I have to say.
Definitely. It looks bigger in person.
Yeah, from up there it didn't seem like it got special, did it?
Not really.
It sure does here. Short or not, this is a super picturesque area. So we are on the Rio Grande. We're looking across over at Mexico. All right, we made it up to the overlook. So the Hoodoos and Balanced Rock Trail there was pretty cool. I don't feel like we really had to do the whole trail. There wasn't a whole lot of new stuff for us there, but the rocks were pretty awesome. And you know, if we're going to be there, we might as well do the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So we did. And we're back on the road now, back on 170, heading west. And it is already going on 11 a.m. And as you know, it gets dark by 5:30 p.m. And we want to get to the interior of the park and do at least one hike in there. And it is getting hot already. My car says it's 65 degrees, but I don't believe it. In that sun, man, you get hot fast. I was sweating just doing that little hike there. We are making our way into the heart of Big Bend Ranch, but it is slow going. You know, it's all just washboarded roads, lots of washes driving across. The washes are really soft, and that's actually nice after all this washboard and rocks that we're going through. So it's very slow traveling. You know, the old Subaru is handling it all just fine, but with these shorter days at this time of year, I don't know how deep we really want to go in.
Yeah.
We definitely have one little area that we wanted to explore that we're heading to right now, and after that we'll make a decision on how much deeper we want to go. All right, guys, we have made it to our main destination here in the interior of Big Bend Ranch State Park, and it is the Ojito Adentro trailhead. It's just a short hike, really, out to a spring, because you've seen all of the desert land we have been driving through, and this is just a hidden little spot out there that is totally different than everything around it. We want to go see it.
We were in search of Ojito Adentro, which translates to Little Spring Within. While there are many seeps and springs in the region, the Ojito Adentro is unique because it contains water most of the year, an unusual feature in the dry desert. The trail to the spring will transition from desert scrubland to a riparian zone, where we expect to find cottonwood trees, willows, grasses, and even ferns. A true desert oasis.
Found our first wild tarantula out here.
It's a big one.
He's a big one. Always wanted to see a tarantula out in the desert, and we've been to the desert how many times now? Multiple deserts. I've never seen an actual tarantula out in the wild until right now. The main path, at least by my map, stays down here in this, but this has the deadfall. So, I don't know, we'll just keep on pushing through. Well, if there was any such thing as a Bigfoot in the Texas desert, I think this is where we would probably find him. Yep, that's definitely water right below me on these rocks. We've got to be about to the end. So pushing through the rocks. Yep. I think we're almost at the spring itself. Got my ecologist here leading the way into this hidden little ecosystem back here. Look how pretty this is, people. You got your pond down here. Does not at all look like something you would find in the middle of a desert. You got the ferns that climb the walls. What other vegetation do you see here, Caden?
I see ferns, I see cattails, I see willows, I see some other plant I don't recognize, and I see some cottonwood saplings.
Yep. We'll push through some of this and see what we got. Oh yeah, we are heading into the actual spring. Huh, we just had a damsel, or is that's a dragonfly, isn't it? Never seen one like that. And here we are. This is what feeds it, just the dripping down this water. Down this wall, I should say. Here's your spring, bud. Wow. Lots of dragonflies and other such insects. It's like a little lost world right back here, isn't it?
It sure is.
The rock at the top of this tiny rock shelter where the water is seeping through, it's all got some very interesting formations. I wouldn't say they're cave-like, but they definitely have got a lot of interesting erosion. This big old fern right here is on a formation itself. And it's even got kind of a little arch that goes right through, a little window into the interior. It's pretty gnarly. Well, I think we've gotten our fill of this cool little spring and ecosystem, and time to head back through the rock maze. Yeah, I don't think I'm that skinny. I'm gonna have to go up the upper route. All right, awesome hike out to that little that spring out there, huh, buddy?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, really neat stuff there. I kind of feel like this is as deep into the park as we're going to get. It's already going on 2 o'clock, believe it or not. And we know it gets dark a little after 5. I don't want to be driving in this place out in the dark. So, plus also it's the heat of the day. My car is showing over 90 degrees, which of course is probably more like 82 or something. But if we stop now, head out, we can have us a good day, huh, buddy?
Yep.
Besides, it's all about sightseeing and seeing what's out here, you know? And who can beat seeing a tarantula on the trail?
I know, right?
That was sweet.
It was awesome.
It was. All right, we're heading in the road, heading back down, seeing what else we can see on the way back. We've made it back across the state park. We're not ready to go back to the campground just yet. So we're gonna go find that Contrabando movie site. All right, we are at the Contrabando Movie Set site. Multiple films, TV shows, and even country music videos have been filmed here. So we're going to see what remains of it.
The Contrabando Movie Set started out with one original adobe building called La Caseta, with additional buildings added in 1985 for the Roy Clark movie Uphill All the Way. It was used for 8 additional movies after that, including the movies Rio Diablo, Lone Star, and Gambler 5. It was also featured in the Lonesome Dove TV miniseries, plus it was the site for Brooks and Dunn music video for My Maria. Now, while researching what movies had been filmed here, I discovered that some of them had also filmed up at the Fandango Dom Rock, as well as at the Hoodoos Trail.
So you can see why this is such a scenic spot that would have been perfect for old Western movies. And you got the cliffs and even Red Rock. Of course, now it's just a picnic area for the state park. What a cool place to picnic though, you know?
The movie set met its ultimate demise in 2008 when the Rio Grande flooded, damaging many of the buildings. In 2015, all of the damaged structures were removed for safety reasons, leaving only La Caseta, and the state park turned it into this picnic area.
So it is almost entirely cleared out. You got the old bar that would have been there. I'm willing to bet some bar fights probably took place in this for the films. And here you got some remnants of other structures that would have been here at one time. So that was the Contrabando Movie Set site. It was a cool little stop, huh?
Sure was.
All right, glad we got to see that. We're going to have to look up some of those movies and shows and music videos that it was used in and just see how it looked in use. Right now we are still heading east. I think we need to go out and get us some more ice and whatever else we feel like doing, huh?
Yeah.
We are back in Terlingua, Texas, in the ghost town. Starlight Theater is right here behind us. It's a restaurant nowadays. We meant to eat there last year to get a chance, so this year we're going to make sure we get to. Well, we've got about a 40-minute wait for the Starlight Theater. So we came over to the Starlight Cantina, get us some prickly pear beverages, huh?
Yeah.
We're going to enjoy these for a little bit before we get our meals.
Can I eat?
Of course, it's looking good, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a good burger. It's a lot of burger.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chips. Love the environment here. All right, Starlight Theater. We finally got to eat there, and man, it was delicious. Did you like yours, Caden?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a huge burger. All right, time to move on. Well, good morning, fellow expeditionists. Unfortunately, our plans are not going, well, they're just not cooperating with me. For the second year in a row, we have gotten up early and gone to the trailhead for the Lost Mine Trail, one of the most popular hikes here in the park, in Big Bend National Park. And second year in a row, every park spot is taken. The main lot and the satellite lots off around that area, all of them full. Everybody already heading up the trail a full hour before sunrise. We really thought we were good this time, and it's just that popular apparently at this time of year. So we still have a couple of days in the park that we could try again, but the temperature and weather is not going to be as good as it would have been today. Today would have had perfect skies and all for it, and the next couple of days will not. But you know, I guess beggars can't be choosers. We'll have to take it when we can get it, hopefully. I'm sure the reason that the trailhead is always full so early is because it's a popular hike to see the sunrise from. But I'm just too impatient to wait around and see if anybody leaves within the next couple of hours, so we moved on. Now, since I had been so positive that we would be doing that hike today, I had no real plans, and this was the last day of truly good weather before a cold front was to move in. So we decided to just wing it. Maybe see some smaller things we've not seen before, and just kind of take it easy. All right, so we faced our first adversity on this trip, of course, with the Lost Mine Trail being swamped with people way too early this morning. So we made a stop at Panther Junction, where we could use their Wi-Fi, and sat there and caught up on a few things. Sun is now risen. And we decided today is going to be our day to go to Boquillas del Carmen. We're going to cross the border into Mexico. But we're still a little bit too early for that, so we're just exploring. There's an area here in the park called the Dugout Wells, which all trails it refers to as the Chihuahuan Desert Nature Trail. It's not very long, but we got some time to kill, so let's experience it, huh, buddy?
Let's go.
So the story of these dugout wells was around 1900, some settlers lived here. And there was a seepage here coming off of the east flank of the Chisos Mountains. And so they dug out some wells to pool the seepage, I assume for livestock and for themselves. And then they later built a windmill to improve the flow. So right now we are walking through basically a desert oasis created from that seepage. It's amazing when you just get a little bit of seepage of water, how much grass and such will grow. Got some scaled quail running around out here. They took off once we got here though. That's some huge mounds of prickly pear, how about you?
I know, right? It's about as tall as I am.
It is. So apparently this was at one time like one of the first small communities in the Big Bend region. So when they had pooled up the water and built a little windmill and everything. Apparently several houses sprung up, and they even had a schoolhouse here at one time. So here is kind of the remnants of an old dugout house. That's when they would construct it where partially buried into the ground. And of course they didn't have much wood to work with out here, so you would build up walls using mostly rocks and adobe and whatever you could for the roof. Even the ocotillo plants could be put up there and then covered with dirt. So as you can see a little bit closer, we have some old metal cans and such left over here. So here is the current windmill that the national park maintains. There's been a windmill in this spot for well over 100 years. So that little nature trail's only about a half mile long, only 10-foot elevation gain. Real simple and easy thing to do, especially nice and early in the morning like this. I guess there was one little section inside the little oasis here that we did not walk through. And it features a palm tree or two, which I'm pretty sure are not native here, but they certainly grow well.
We hit up the Dugout Wells simply as a time waster before we headed over to Mexico, but it turned out to be a really cool and historic spot, and I even got what I consider to be one of my favorite pics from the whole trip, with the windmill framed by the distant mountains and desert landscape. But now, onward to Mexico.
Where are we at, Caden?
We're about to cross the port of entry to Boquillas del Carmen.
All right. Done this before. This will be our second time going over there, huh?
Yep.
The food is just that good. Well, going through the port of entry and checking our passports and all is pretty standard stuff, pretty easy. And they just tell us not to bring anything back that's food-based. Anything else? Cool beans. All right, we are at the river. It does feel like the river is more flow this year than it was last year. So you do have the option to ride horses or donkeys, but we just like to walk it. You know, Boquillas del Carmen got its start in the 1800s as a small mining community. And at some point, Mexico and America thought it would be a cool thing to have a port of entry right here where the two countries kind of manage these awesome wild spaces out here. And they've kind of had this gentleman's agreement ever since doing this. And the little town, you know, for them to get supplies, it's actually closer to cross over into America to get stuff than it is going back into Mexico, because they are so isolated here. So most of their economy now, of course, is more based on tourism. So we like to come over here and contribute a little bit and just experience it. How about?
Yeah.
And the horses and the donkeys. The one thing about Boquillas is the kids will definitely be hitting you up selling their trinkets, and we got suckered into them pretty quickly, didn't we, buddy?
Yep.
Boquillas. So here we have Jose Falcon. That's the restaurant we ate at last year, and most likely will again because we really, really liked it. I get a feeling that a lot of the Christmas tourists that were here in Big Bend may be on their way out because it's not nearly as busy today as what I would have expected to enjoy the culture here. It's time to eat. Well, what do we got here, Caden?
We got tacos.
Yeah, we got some steak tacos. Looks good, buddy. Let's dig in. Well, We have got full bellies. Caden found his blanket that he was looking for. So we are heading back stateside. All right, we are back on American soil. Whew, man. Probably the easiest international trip you could take right there, going over to Boquillas del Carmen. Heading back through customs, the port of entry. Right now we're back at our campsite, at least for a short bit. And we're coming down to the Rio Grande River, which our campsite is right next to. So this is a spot that they drop in canoes a lot for canoeing the Rio Grande River. So it probably gets deep pretty quick right here. Not a rocky area we can walk out onto from this spot. It's just kind of weird how you can walk 100 feet from desert scrub into this riverland ecosystem. Well, take some time to refill some bottles, because we like to buy some Powerade, and then after we drink it, we just refill them with our own water and add some of these Crystal Light flavorings into them. It saves a lot of money on buying Powerade type stuff, and honestly the Crystal Light stuff is better for you than the Powerade or Gatorade is anyway. So I've got my I think it's a 2.5 gallon, maybe a 3 gallon water jug here, and of course I've got this nice little electronic pump. It actually has a 600 milliliter setting, which is basically 20 ounces. So I can just push that button and let it go. It fills it. Then I'll add my flavorings. Once they're all full, throw them into the cooler. So now they're ready to go back in the cooler. Good morning, fellow expeditionists. This is day 6 on this adventure. Last night I didn't get to film much, didn't really even think about it. We ended up going to, was it Lone Star Pizza or Long Draw Pizza?
Long Draw.
Long Draw Pizza. They're near Terlingua. We ate there last year and loved it, and so we went back, and the pizza is great, but this time, for some reason, everything is so much busier over this period than it was last year. That place was packed. There was probably 2 or 3 dozen cars outside. We went in, I don't know, it was about 6:20 p.m. And we managed to squeeze in on a table with a bunch of other people. And it took us over an hour to get our pizza. So, love it, but it was just overcrowded is all, huh?
Yeah.
So anyway, the weather turned last night as we expected it to. It got down to, I don't know, around 48. And it's not getting much warmer today. It's, I think, high of like 51. And that's at low elevation. You go higher and you know it's going to be colder.
Yep. We're back in Indiana, or more like Indiana is back to us.
Yeah, but unfortunately back in Indiana, they're got like teens today. So this cold front was like nationwide apparently. Anyway, so we're going to kind of take it easy today. We're going exploring still, of course, but nothing major. Let's do it. Let's lock in. We move. Well, we are sitting in line right now at the entrance station, the west entrance station into the national park. This is the first time in all of our visits here that we've ever had to sit in a line. I'm not sure why it is so busy this year, especially on a poor weather day like today, but it is. I'm going to guess most likely what's happened is all of these people have watched the Sloan's Wilderness Expeditions videos from here from last year and thought, you know what, we gotta go. Seems to be what we do to these places, huh, buddy?
Yeah.
Now, once we get through here, our plan is to go hit the Ross Maxwell Scenic Drive and possibly hit a couple of trails along that path if we can put up with the weather. And it is like 50 degrees with high winds, and the high winds is what kills it. Temperature's not bad.
What you got? I can't scan that out here. They'll be able to do that at the pool. Okay? Thank you.
We have arrived at the Lower Burro Mesa Pour-Off. It's just a little 1 mile trail that goes out to a little box canyon, basically, where whenever there is rain here, there's a big old waterfall. Now there is an Upper Burro Mesa Pour-Off trailhead as well. And it's more of almost a 4 mile hike. And that had originally been my hope to do, but it's like 43 degrees with 20 to 30 mile gust winds today, so we're just going to do the shorter, lower trail. Let's see what we can see. Most of the reports say people see a lot of bighorn sheep up here on the cliffs, but with today's weather, I'm not expecting to see any kind of wildlife out and about. We're kind of pushing ourselves to get to the main viewpoint here because 3 cars full of Asian tourist families came in right after us with some very loud children. We didn't want to have to share the trail the whole time with them. You know, I don't mind sharing the trail. It's part of the experience. But if I got a chance to see some of it to myself, I'm going to take it. So there it is. This is the pour-off. Lower Burro Mesa. This is where you would have a torrent of a waterfall during the summer thunderstorms. And there is a trail that comes out at the top of this. Well, we just made it here in time to take like 2 pictures. But it is a cool formation, and just these rocks and these rock walls are just cool to see, aren't they?
They show off.
And it is a small shelter from the strong winds of today. I'm sure it's even prettier in full sunlight. So yeah, just like that, more than a dozen people showed up and swarmed the pour-off, so not a whole lot of time to enjoy it to ourselves, I guess, but if we hadn't hurried up, we wouldn't have gotten that much, huh?
I know, right?
It is a beautiful spot, though. I'm really enjoying all this rock and rock formations out here. The desert is amazing. And look at these rock walls and the rock banding. I just find that fascinating. And like I said before, if that was in the sun, it would be vibrant. Back to the trailhead, you see the cars in the parking area. Look off to this side. Dead ahead, that is Santa Elena Canyon in the distance. So when we pulled into this trailhead, there was one other vehicle there, and they were actually hiking on back out at the time. When we got back to our car, and again, this was only a half-mile hike, there were 5 new cars and 2 more coming in. So I don't know. They follow us. I swear they follow us. They know us and they just follow us. Oh, the Sloans are going there. Must be a cool place. We have arrived at the Tough Canyon Trail here along the Ross Maxwell Scenic Drive. We're going to be going down into this. Yeah, it's just a big old crack in the earth, isn't it? We got to get down there to the base of it so we can get into this crack.
30 million years ago, ash and particles that ejected from a nearby volcanic vent accumulated here. Heat and pressure welded the layers into a material called tuff. When we get down into the canyon, we'll be looking for pebbles, rocks, and boulders that are embedded right into the canyon walls. The deeper we go into the canyon, we will find older basaltic rock on the canyon floor that was exposed as the canyon carved through the layers of tuff.
You got these big old rocks literally just sticking out of the wall here, slowly getting eroded out. Some of this erosion on the side there almost looks like claw marks right there. Pretty cool area, isn't it, Kate?
Sure is.
It's a really easy trail too, so this is a quick, short hike that any family could easily do. Come down and experience this little thing here. Just preferably not during the middle of a giant thunderstorm in the summer. Now, some of the beauty of the rocks anywhere really is just in how they, erode and all the little impressions that are left behind, the crevices from the cold white stone of the canyon walls into this more volcanic in nature rock. Time to climb. Very awesome. Yeah. This is fun. Life finds a way.
Looks like a lupine.
Nice. Of all places, find a lupine. So here you have the wash that comes over that edge. And when the water would come through, it drains right through here. And we've actually still got water down there. This really is like a big old playground in here. So you got the one pool of water there. And from there on, it goes on down through the wash, through the canyon. So this section we came up to out here probably technically isn't on the official hike. But remember, Big Bend National Park encourages you to go off trail and explore. So that's what we're doing. Tough Canyon was actually a lot cooler than I expected it to be. My research just showed us this short little trail that mostly went above the canyon and had some cool views, and just seemed like something worth stopping at as a little roadside attraction kind of thing. But the official park trail, I don't even think actually goes into the canyon, but they allow you to explore it and then just return to the trail. Or like us, among many other people apparently, find your own way out, which we did. And really cool experience. I like that. How about you, buddy?
That was neat.
Yeah, it was neat. So we're heading on down the Ross Maxwell Scenic Drive now. no real intentions at this point, no plans. I've hit the couple of trails that we felt we could do in the current weather. But since we are this close to the end of the scenic drive, it would just seem wrong to be here in Big Bend, this far down it, without seeing Santa Elena Canyon again. And of course, we did the hike into the Santa Elena Canyon last year. I'm not sure yet if we're going to do the whole hike again or not, but you know, we're here, and the canyons are protected from all that wind, so that makes it a bonus, I guess. We saw the Santa Elena Canyon, the opening to it and all. We weren't sure if we wanted to get out and hike it again, but after driving around and seeing how busy it is and how you'd have to walk like a quarter mile, half mile just to get through the parking lot, yeah, we decided that our experience there last year was good enough, and we got to see it again. The impressive part is just that big opening scene. We've been in it before. Good enough for us, huh, buddy?
Yep.
And we're going to keep on doing our scenic drive. We are back at camp here. We're at the old Lower Medera Canyon Campground. And it's, I don't know, about 4 in the afternoon. But I don't know, it's the weather, of course, is kind of depressing. And so I think we're just going to relax the rest of the day. And you know, it's low 50s, I think, right now, which is still not bad for, you know, December 29th, I think it is today. So yeah, I can't complain too much. And we're just having such a great time in this desert ecosystem. It's just an amazing place. And you know, this is Texas, and it's about the only Southwest type stuff we could make it to in this amount of time with the great weather and everything for the most part. So well, good morning, fellow expeditionists. Day number 7 on this adventure. Today, we are once again back at the Lost Mine Trailhead. We arrived at like 5:45 a.m. and only one other vehicle is here at that point. So we waited a little while for a little bit of light to get out here. And finally, third time's a charm, do this hike.
The Lost Mine Trail is widely considered the best day hike in Big Bend National Park. At just 4.8 miles round trip and only 1,100 foot elevation gain, it offers the biggest payoff for the least effort in these mountains. As such, the trailhead fills up quickly. In fact, this was our 3rd time trying to hike this trail, going back to our first trip to Big Bend in 2024. And the trail climbs the side of Lost Mine Peak, with spectacular views into Juniper Canyon and the northeast rim of the Chisos.
Some of these views in the Big Bend area, like the Chisos Mountains, and even some of the mountains over in Big Bend Ranch State Park, it gives me that Middle Earth feel, kind of like, you know, all the Hobbit movies. And I feel like I should look out that way and like see the Eye of Sauron glowing above. And we're climbing the side of what really are ancient volcanic rocks. So many of these views are pretty much the same rocks, but from different angles, and every one of them is just different enough that you got to stop and look. We are deep into the switchbacks, and I'm just kind of happy the trail builders here understand switchbacks, because believe it or not, there are some places that don't. I believe we have made it to the flat area on top. We just got a little ways to go, maybe a couple tenths at most, to get to the end and the main viewpoints. I'm gonna be honest, even though I am still catching my breath, it's not been as difficult as I expected. And I can only assume that's at least partially because of how well the trail is built, and also the fact that it's like maybe 35, 40 degrees outside. So it keeps you from overheating as easily. But it's been an enjoyable hike. Just a whole bunch of rocks here at the end. Pick your place and enjoy the views. View up here, isn't it?
It is. Wow, that view is awesome. I think I can even see into Mexico.
Bet we can. Well, we finally made it to Lost Mine Peak. Third time's a charm. Was it worth it, Caden?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, awesome hike, amazing views. This is the most popular hike in this park for a reason. And we could not leave. We could not leave until we finally got to do it. And right now we're having a little snack break. Look at our view. Heading back down, now we get to see all those views in front of us this time.
Lost Mine Peak was named for the legend of the Lost Mine of Chisos, where Spanish explorers allegedly discovered ore here while searching for silver and gold. They enslaved the native Chiso tribe and forced them to work the mine, blindfolding them to keep the location of the mine secret. The legend says that the Chiso revolted, killing their Spanish captors and sealing the entrance to the mine. To this day, it remains just a legend, as no ore-bearing rocks have been reported in these hills.
Well, after that awesome hike, we are headed into the Chisos Basin. We are in the Chisos Basin, but we had to park down by the campground because of everybody doing the same thing. It's full capacity. So, you know, when you're here, you gotta go experience everything. We're gonna go up, check out the visitor center here in the Chisos Basin. Maybe check out the camp store. Maybe look for some food. Got us some J's up here looking for a free handout. Camp store behind us. Here's the visitor center. So that's a view of Casa Grande. That's the huge rock we kept getting views of from Lost Mine Trail. Rises 2,000 feet from right here. Of course, there in the middle is Toll Mountain. We actually backpacked on top of that last year. To the right, Emery Peak, which we also climbed at that time. So here is the Lodge Restaurant. They had awesome food when we were here last year. We ate at it twice. However, it is now closed. Like I say, the building here has structural problems. So, supposedly back here is a food truck. Let's go find it. Directly below Casa Grande. Not bad for a food truck, huh?
Right.
All right. And of course, dinner with a view. All right, awesome hike up the Lost Mine Trail. Full bellies from that food truck. That was actually really good, huh?
Yeah.
So now that we've completed that hike, I feel accomplished here in Big Bend. I feel like I've done everything I've wanted to do between last year and this year. You know, last year we managed to fit in the Balanced Rock hike and hiking up to Emery Peak. And of course the canyons, Santa Elena Canyon and Boquillas Canyons, and all those little things like that. And this year we needed to hit up two main things, the hot springs and the Lost Mine Trail. And we got those in with some bonus other things, adventures as well. So pretty accomplished. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, it's definitely a very cool place. I think we've seen all the targets that we really wanted to see.
Yeah. And this, I'm just personally really in love with this environment. The whole American Southwest, here in Southwest Texas, parts of New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, even parts of Southwest Colorado. I'm just in love with all of this environment, this desert environment, all these weird cacti and different types of plants, the mountains, the canyons. It's just something about it that has really pulled me in. What do you think?
Yeah, it almost feels like a different planet.
Yeah. And then all of the history here, you've got all these little ghost towns and such, and just trying to picture, even just 100 years ago, how hard of a life these people had it, trying to live down here and make a living off of this land. Really cool stuff. Right now we are heading back towards Terlingua. We got to make a stop there before we head on back to our campsite in Big Bend Ranch. And then we are going to be packing up. We're going to probably sleep in the Subaru camper tonight and have everything ready to go so we can take off first thing in the morning. We have mostly packed up the tent. The sun's kind of put too much of a glare on that, but mostly packed it up. We're ready to camp in the Subaru again. The sun messing with me. But as you can see, it has warmed up, at least down here at river level. Caden's getting some sun. He's trying to stay behind me. Look at that.
Hey, I got a tan.
Yeah, got a tan when you can, huh,
yep,
buddy?
We're gonna be back in the Midwest before we know it. Well, it'll be cloudy for 3 more months.
That's true. So true. It's kind of depressing to have to leave here, isn't it?
Now that I'm not worried about my face getting sunburnt and all that.
Nah. Anyway, we just thought with about an hour or so of daylight we have left, we're just going to walk around and explore around the campground a little bit. This is where it's kind of disappointing being down here in December when you got limited daylight hours. So much exploring that we would do in the summertime that you just can't this time because it's getting dark by like 5:30. So you take what you can get. The foliage and such along the river is really thick. So at the boat ramp there's somebody down there with net fishing. They're tossing a net right out into the river. So we won't interrupt them. I was hoping to find more spaces to reach the river, but not through all that vegetation. What kind of tree we got here, buddy?
Hey, that looks like a tamarisk, also called salt cedar.
Salt cedar. Weird.
Yeah.
So walking back towards our Lower Medera Campground, you see this hill up here. Up on that hill is the Upper Medera Campground. It is nice for a commanding view across this valley we're in right now and to the mountains on the other side. But it is literally right up against the road. So that's why we chose the lower section. There's a couple of campsites down here in just big gravelly areas. Perfect for somebody that's got a big old RV or trailer. And that looks like that's what at least one of these is. So on this side of the campground, they've got some hillbilly restrooms. I say that because they're up on stilts. Anybody that's been to Kentucky in the flooding zones, you want everything up on stilts. So that's why I refer to them as the hillbilly restrooms. Heading back into our main camping area, we are site 13, pretty far down. I mean, how can you complain when you've got a mountain view like that? So here we got some neighbors and a nice big tent. Now this site right here, sites 1, 2, and 3, I believe. It's like this circle we're standing in. So you literally just park on the side of the road there, and your tent is way back there. We wanted something that we could pull our Subaru back into in case we wanted to sleep in it. So these next few sites are all kind of similar to the one we've got. They are a back in or pull in. So we're both left and right side of the gravel lane here. And it's just, like I say, a pull in spot with a little kind of shelter picnic table. And now we have arrived back at site 13, lucky number 13. Where you will find the Subaru. So we definitely got some cool desert plants here surrounding our campsite. Interesting little cacti here. And we got this plant here, which is some kind of Christmas cactus because it fruits at this time of year. You'll see the red fruits there. Kind of gives you that feeling of a decorated Christmas tree.
After a good night's sleep in the back of the Subaru, we left the campground and the Big Bend area before sunrise. But instead of heading northeast back toward Indiana, we aimed the outback to the northwest, with our eyes on a roadside attraction and a couple of locations we hope to see in New Mexico before beginning the long trek home. Well, good morning, fellow expeditionists. It is December 31, day number 8. Happy New Year's Eve. We left the campsite this morning just after 5 a.m. Temps were somewhere around 34 degrees, and I think they're even less now. Been on the road for a couple of hours, heading north-northwest, and now we're at an interesting little art installation out in the middle of nowhere in Texas called, well, it's a Prada storefront. It is literally a replica of the storefront of the high-end purse and shoe brand of Prada. And those are real Prada products that the artist used for this installation. So yeah, this weird little art installation, which like I said, is literally out in the middle of nowhere. Middle of the Chihuahuan Desert here in Texas, west of Marfa, the town of Marfa, which it itself has its own weird little legends, the Marfa lights. Apparently it is a tradition for people coming through to put a lock on the fence around it. I don't have any spare locks, or I would. Now look there, you even got a lock from somebody's hitch ball on there. I'm half tempted to just wander through here at all the stickers and see if there's anybody I recognize. You never know what you're going to find out on the road. Alright, we have been on the road for a few hours now, drove into another time zone. We're now in the mountain time zone. We have entered New Mexico. We decided that we wanted to see something brand new to us, and we are heading towards White Sands National Park. Never been there, so we're going to spend at least a little bit of time this afternoon there, checking it out, doing the scenic drive, maybe seeing if there's any kind of little trails there for us to check out. Well, we have made it to White Sands National Park, huh, buddy?
Yeah.
We're going to check out the visitor center real quick before we go on our drive. They say this is one of the least visited national parks, but you wouldn't know it today. This place is packed. Some good information there at the visitor center. We still have to get into the entrance, which looks like there is a line backed up. We would like to do the 8-mile scenic loop, I'm not sure how much I'll actually get recorded. We're hoping to stop and do one hike into the sand dunes, depending if there's parking. Yay for waiting in line. Much like the Great Sand Dunes National Park in Colorado, you can rent sleds here and sled down these hills. Now granted, these dunes aren't nearly as big as the ones in Colorado, but still very sleddable. But I feel like Caden and I have had enough sand to hold us over down there in the Big Bend area for the past week. But we don't really feel the need to get out there and sled on it and get even more, huh?
Yeah.
It is pretty here though, very pretty. There's just lots and lots of sledding out here. That seems to be the main thing with everybody, sleds. I guess when you live in an area that doesn't get really any snow, this is the closest thing to sledding you get. Heard of people going snow blind, but here you go sand blind. I feel like every hill that's close to a parking area is just full of people. There is one 5-mile trail you can get away from the people a little bit, but anybody that has hiked in snow will tell you, anybody that has hiked in sand will tell you how difficult the hiking is in sand. Now granted, this sand might be a little more compact than your typical sand, but I don't know. I think we might have to try it out though. All right, they have a backcountry loop here. It's a little under 2 miles. We're going to attempt that. So we're going to try to fight through these crowds and see some of these dunes. Ew, sand.
Ew.
It looks like there is a path right through here. Supposedly there are stakes that you can follow. I can see one way out there. We'll head that direction. All right, I think I can see the poles. So I should be able to follow this trail now, if I don't go sand blind. Between the white gypsum sand and all the screaming kids, what's this more remind you of, Caden?
Florida.
Florida. This feels more like Florida with this kind of sand and this kind of crowd. Well, our next post is actually at the top of that hill behind the kids there doing all the sledding. And this is why this is a national park. Just miles of these white dunes surrounded by mountains that pretty much is what created these dunes. The slow erosion and the gypsum that collects. For the record, I also downloaded this trail map to my phone before taking off, just because in case you can't see one of the posts, it'd be really easy to get disoriented out here and lose your way. Fun fact, this little backcountry 2-mile trail actually has backcountry camping, so you could technically go backpacking with reservations back here in these sand dunes. I think that'd be really cool at this time of year, but not prepared for it right now. Still on track. It doesn't take far out into these dunes to feel like you're isolated. We're really not that far from where the parking area is, but it sure feels like you're out in the middle of nothing. Oh, definitely getting sand in my shoes now. Back to the land of sledding on the dunes. Well, we made it back to our parking area, the trailhead, where all the action is at, with all the people out here sledding. What'd you think of this place, Caden?
It's a pretty neat place with all the rolling sand dunes and just the white sand everywhere. It makes me think of being back in Indiana in the middle of January.
It kind of feels like snow out there, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially like when we just had snow a few weeks ago.
Yep. Cool place. It's worth seeing once, but I feel like that's all I needed. We'll add this to our list. I think this is like number 38 for our national park list. And remember, up until about 7-8 years ago, we'd only been to like 3. So yeah, it's been a wild ride getting to visit all of these places. All right, White Sands National Park, cool place, interesting place. I know they say that it's really good for photography, like at sunrise and sunset and such, but we will not be sticking around the area waiting around for that. You know, Caden did bring something else up that kind of reminded him of. What was that?
It reminds me of Indiana Dunes, of how the sand feels when we go up and down the sand hills while all the kids are playing around.
Right. The sand up there isn't quite as white as this here is, of course, but yeah, when you do, like, say for instance, the 3 Dune Challenge there at Indiana Dunes State Park, it's a lot like that. Cool place. Now we're moving on. We are actually going to take a night to ourselves. We're heading to the town of Las Cruces, New Mexico, right down the road from here, for New Year's Eve. We're going to do our own little bit of celebrating here in town.
Good morning, fellow expeditionists. This is day number 9 on this road trip. We came into Las Cruces last night, got us a room at Best Western, and we mostly stayed in for New Year's Eve. We just needed to get cleaned up after a week in the sand, and so we did, and we relaxed, and now we're up, getting ready to go have some breakfast, but I'm not sure what our itinerary is going to be beyond that, because it is raining right now here in New Mexico, in the desert. And that changes everything about what we wanted to do for our last day or two before heading home. So, I don't know. We may cut things short. We'll see.
Good breakfast this morning, and we are on the move now. And it is a very dreary day, very cloudy with spits of rain. Check the forecast, and it's going to be kind of a thing for the next couple of days, just spits of rain over and over. And that changes my plans, because today we were intending to go to the San Lorenzo Canyon area, BLM land. It's a cool off-roading type area, and an area you can explore a lot of like little canyons and slot canyons and such. And you can camp there, boondock there, but I do not trust going into that kind of area when there is rain in the desert. You know, there's always a potential for flash flooding or just getting very muddy roads that I don't want to deal with. So we're playing it safe, and we're going to have to skip that one, save it for another trip. But it also changes the other places that we wanted to see in New Mexico too, because, you know, it's the desert, and when there's rain, it's difficult to enjoy it. So we are going to hit probably one national monument up near Albuquerque before we just call it and start heading back east. We have made it into Albuquerque, and out on the west side of the area is Petroglyphs National Monument, and that is going to be our final destination on this road trip. So ironically, something we did not know, The visitor center is closed here today. They even got the road blocked off. So we're lucky to have even gotten a spot to park at this trailhead. Apparently, the National Monument visitor centers are closed on Thanksgiving, Christmas Day, and New Year's Day. I've never known a national park managed place to actually close for the holidays. But, you know, we are out in New Mexico. They may do different things out in this area or just have staffing issues. It's really hard to say. Regardless, some of the trails are open. We're doing them.
Petroglyphs National Monument is located on the west side of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it protects one of the largest petroglyph sites in North America, made by both Native Americans and Spanish settlers, mostly between 400 to 700 years ago. What sets these petroglyphs apart from many other petroglyph sites is that these are made on volcanic rock. On the western edge of the National Monument sit the Albuquerque volcanoes, also known as the Three Sisters. They are a rare example of fissure eruptions where magma rose along a thin crack in the Earth's crust, not through a vertical vent like most volcanoes. The fissure is 5 miles long and resulted in a row of aligned eruption craters, all active at the same time some 150,000 years ago. These eruptions produced 17 miles of volcanic escarpment that are now protected within the National Monument and contain more than 20,000 petroglyphs.
The hills over there, and probably where we'll be finding the petroglyphs, have a lot of very, very black rocks. Why is that?
Well, there are several volcanoes in the National Monument that we may check out later.
Cool. There's one such example. I really liked their concentric circles or spirals. Pretty sure that's a scribbling of Mothman. Now we're talking. That's a little more interesting. It's kind of what I was expecting all along. Not really getting a whole lot of the hike here just because it's mostly the same thing as far as the trail goes, you know. And that big old escarpment behind us here. Just searching out potential petroglyphs. It's a good way to spend part of your day. A nice natural area like this, along a big old flow of lava rock, along with some historic things like petroglyphs. That's a good way to start the year, isn't it?
It sure is.
In somewhat more modern times, these grasslands were used for grazing by Spanish sheep herders, and they would often leave their mark on the rocks too. Like here's a couple of things here dated February 22nd, 1919. And then they even left their religious symbols in the rock here. Now whether or not that was from the Spanish sheep herders or from the Puebloans, I don't know. And look off to the right of that rock. That is definitely something that would appear to be Native American.
Oh, that looks like Saturn.
Pretty sure that looks like E.T. Long arms, thick body. Definitely E.T. It's gotten a little more interesting, hasn't it, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, starting to find a few more things. Because when you're looking and looking and not finding, it gets a little discouraging, but yeah, just found a few more here. Check them out. All right, I want some professionals to interpret this one for me. So this style of petroglyphs, they call it the Rio Grande style. And this probably came about around 1300 AD. That's when there was kind of an explosion of pueblo and villages in this region. I think it's some kind of bird. We have all this. Here would be a turtle, maybe. You can see that mask, how it's on the corner of the rock. It's kind of a way of making that face 3D. There's one big jumble of volcanic rock. Zoom in a little bit to that big one. See if we got some stuff on that one. So this one here depicts a sheep along with some other things, which means it was at least 1600 AD or later, because that's when sheep were introduced to the area by the Spaniards. That is clearly a robot head. Well, the trail starts moving away now from the canyon walls. And we ended up finding a lot more as we went that made it totally worth it, didn't it, Caden?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, so Petroglyphs National Monument, and this is just one of several trails. It's definitely got the petroglyphs. And knowing these here date anywhere from 1000 BC up to the 1700s AD, it's just kind of fascinating and just so much history in one little canyon. Petroglyph National Monument, cool little place. What we got to see of it took us off guard that the visitor center and such are closed today on New Year's Day. Did not expect that, but at least we got to hike the one trail there. And you know, the National Monument is part of a larger open space park here on the west side of Albuquerque. So on the back side where we were just at are 5 small volcano formations. So we are going to cruise around to the other side and get an idea of what that looks like. It's kind of bizarre to think that the escarpment we were on is like 17 miles long. They say that there's some 23,000 documented petroglyphs along that 17-mile length of volcanic escarpment. So let's go back there and let's see if we can find what created all that escarpment. Well, with the National Monument being closed today, the access road is also closed. So we've got all these cars parked out here just walking the road to get up to the volcano trail. And as you can see, at least from this side, they're not particularly dominating the landscape. But they have been weathered down greatly. So I assume they were just some kind of volcanic vents that just had a massive lava flow at one time. Well, fellow travelers, that is going to bring us to the end of another amazing road trip. Caden, what was your favorite adventure on this?
I would say my favorite hike was when we went up the Lost Mine Trail. Those views were just awesome, and just seeing all the plants at the different elevations. And the trail wasn't particularly difficult. We still felt good enough after that.
Yeah, you're right. We were actually down off the mountain within like 2.5 hours, I think, for the whole thing, which is unusual for us, especially on an uphill climb. But we did it, and you know, I'm super glad that we waited it out. You know, since the first time we went up there, everything was full, so we came back even earlier the next time, and we made it happen. And yes, awesome trail. I'm going to choose, though, for my favorite was probably on our first full day in Big Bend, doing the Ernst Ridge Trail all the way out to the hot springs, the historic district, and all the cool views of the mountains and the river below, just because it contained so many things.
That was awesome.
Yeah, only downside to it, of course, was that it got really hot on us in the afternoon. Something we didn't have to worry about when we climbed up on the Lost Mine Peak, huh?
That's for sure.
Yeah. And as an honorable mention, I would say would be the, what was it called? The spring in Big Bend Ranch.
Yeah, that one.
I think it's Ojito Adentro
Yeah.
Trail. But that spring, well, it's a very short hike, like 1.4 miles all the way around. We got to see our first tarantula alive, you know, in the wild.
Yep.
And then that little nook inside there with the water and all the ferns and all the interesting insects I've never seen before was just really unique, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we went there, it felt like I was almost in the middle of the Smokies.
Yeah, it was almost like that little rainforest vibe right in that little corner, huh?
Yeah.
All right, you know, this is going to bring us to the end though, so thanks for coming along. We really appreciate it. And of course, make sure you like and subscribe. Till next time, peace out. You can check out this video or this one. Got a pretty cool video over here. And you know, this one up here is one of my favorite. Check them all out. Come along, make sure you subscribe.